All right, my dear fellow listeners and viewers, good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of the Dr. Narine Dat Show. For those of you who have tuned in the past, will know that we are here live every Sunday from starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Ontario New York time. That is, it is very different than what we have done in the past, meaning that the Dr. Narine Dat Show is very different than the Let's Chit Chat with Narine Dat. When it comes to our guest selection, we are very mindful as to who we have on this show here. And the whole purpose of the Dr. Narendra show is to really create a safe space for positive energy only, nothing more than that. And tonight, we are very pleased to have with us here no other than Shamar Palmer, and he's going to share with us more about his stage name. I will leave that up to him. But Shamar, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, Dr. Narine. Thank you very much for having me. Doing very well. Very excited to be on the show today.
Awesome, awesome. And we are very grateful to have you on here as well. So the format very simple. So what we're gonna do, the fact that we have just you here, like this is your time to kind of shine, so to speak. The spotlight is on you, nobody else.
Right.
I'm giving you, a minute or two or so, for you to take your time, introduce yourself, to the people who are probably watching and listening for the very first time. And when you're done, we're gonna dive into, your passion for music and so much more because as I understand it, you do all original music, which is a special thing. So take it away,
Yes.
introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you very much. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shamar Palmer. I go by the name Trayvon Palmer as a musician. I am a singer, songwriter, producer, audio engineer. Anything that has to do with sound, I take care of it. I've been writing, recording music for as long as I can remember. My first song I wrote when I was about 10 years old. Um, Born and raised here in Kitchener. Of course, Dr. Naren, he's been supporting me since day one. I've been performing at his shows ever since I was a youth. So today is a very meaningful interview. Very excited to be here once again.
Awesome. So thank you so much for that introduction. I'm having a little bit of an issue to kind of share things properly in my page, but we'll get this straight now, so not to worry.
Absolutely, of course.
Right. For sure, for sure. And so, I mean, so obviously, you have a passion for music. You have the passion for singing. You've been in it for several years now. And thank you for sharing that, by the way. You've performed a show when you were a young boy, you know what I mean, and so forth. You've done well, and that passion
Yep.
stays with you. So my question to you, though, like, music, first of all, is a universal thing, and it is a really good therapy for human relaxation. That I can tell you.
Yes.
What was that one thing that motivated you to get into music? That's the first part of the question. But my second question too, like, what motivated you to kind of keep going up to today?
Right. So Naren, of course, once again, we go way back. You know me since I was like maybe 8, 9, 10 years old.
Mhm.
And music is runs through my family. Everybody in my family listens to music. My mom, my auntie, my grandmother. And I'm not talking like just here and there. No, music is
Mhm.
being played each and every single day in my household growing
Mhm.
up. So, of course, the love came from the family. And when it came to actually creating my own music, I just, obviously being young, I remember watching BET on a
Mhm.
winter night when I was like maybe 10, 11 years old. And I was like, I see these guys writing their own music. Let me try for myself.
Mhm.
And that's when I wrote my first song. It was called Colored Diamonds. I still remember to this day.
Yep.
And actually, I performed that song at one of your shows.
Awesome.
So, very, very historic, right?
Awesome for sure.
And the one thing that you said too, what motivates me to still go to
Mhm.
this day? I mean, music is my first true love. Like
Mhm.
growing up, I never played basketball. I never played sports. I never really did anything like that. It was always music for me. When it came to hobbies and passion, music was always my number one growing up. When I was younger, believe it or not, I would much rather listen to music instead of watching TV and, movies and all those things. So music is very, very important to me.
That's awesome. And one thing I want to tell you off the bat here is that I personally have seen lots of growth in you, by the way, and I'm very proud of you. I want you to know this much, for sure. Just
Thank
in
you.
case if I forget to tell you, you've grown in so many different ways, which is awesome. It's good to see. It's good to see this, right? Obviously,
Absolutely.
I've known your mom for a while. I've known your aunt Keisha. We both we
Yes.
are former classmates. We both attended KCI, believe it or not, and
Yes. Yes.
we kind of kept in contact on all of that. So it's nice to see people grow and become their own individual self, which is awesome. One of the things you
Yes.
do that's very special though, because it is easy for us to kind of follow along and do what people are doing. Usually that's the easy thing to do, right? One of
Hmm.
the things that I like, what you have been doing is that you write your own original music, which is awesome. That's a bonus.
Yes.
How do you get started when it comes to putting together a song? Do you just sit, and say, "Look, I'm gonna write a song now because I didn't do one in a while," or
Yeah.
how does the idea come to you in terms of starting to write songs?
I'm always creating. Like throughout the day, I have a notebook, I have a notepad in my phone,
Hmm.
and whenever I go out through my day, I just write down ideas for a song, right? So I'll be outside, and maybe I might see a swan or something, and I'm like, hey, let me write a song called Black Swan.
Hmm.
And in that notepad, I'll write down ideas, and then when it's time to create, I'll come home right here. Like this is my
Hmm.
studio right here, also my bedroom.
Hmm.
But I come home and I'll look for a beat, and if I find the right beat that matches the vibe, that's when I'll just start writing. Whatever comes to mind, I just write it down.
Amazing. That is awesome for sure.
Yes.
So, how much time do you usually spend per week as an average
Yeah.
when it comes to music, whether that be you writing, whether that be you, trying to find the right beat and all of that?
Hmm.
How much time
Every
do you
day,
normally spend?
every single day, for hours, every single day. Obviously, like I have work, like
Mm-hmm.
I got to pay the bills,
Hmm.
so I'll do work, of course. And when I'm not working, I'm either with family or I'm working on music. So it's an everyday grind for me. It doesn't stop. It never stops. If I'm not writing, then I'm working on a mix. If I'm not working on a mix, then I'm doing filming. If I'm not filming, I'm editing. Every day I'm working on something that's music related.
That is awesome. So it looks like you do a little bit of everything, eh? Because you mentioned something about editing as well.
Yeah,
So see, do you do all of that? How about the
of
recording?
course.
Do you do the recording like at your home studio or do you go elsewhere? Because we have local studio here
Yeah,
in
of
the region,
course.
Waterloo too, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a very well-known local studio called Track House, ran by
Hmm.
Tate Garrett. Shout out to Tate.
Hmm.
That's my homie. I seen him today at the Eric Traplin show over in
Hmm.
downtown Kitchener. So yeah, shout out Tate. But no, I record everything from home. I have my microphone right here. I got my computer in front of me. I record on Pro Tools. So it's all me, 100% me.
That is awesome. That goes to show, your passion and love for what you do, right? There's no question about that. That's for sure. Maybe we'll have to
Absolutely.
talk after. Maybe we have to talk after the interview. I can utilize some of your skills in a good way.
Absolutely,
I
of
didn't realize,
course.
I didn't realize you do all editing. And along that line, though, I have to say, you started a very unique, initiative on social media where you put bits and pieces of things that is related to music, but you put it in a nice, entertaining way. And I like the way how you put it forward.
Yes.
Where did that idea came about from? Because I honestly think that you're closing a gap there. Like there's no question about
Yes, and thank you. I appreciate the
that.
recognition there. And I use social media to promote my music just because it's the best way to get it out there these days. Like everybody has a smartphone. Everybody's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Everyone's on TikTok, especially
Mhm.
TikTok now, right?
Mhm.
So I just try to find ways to get my music in front of people, and social media I find is the easiest way. I started this whole social media content thing
Yeah.
last year, January. And, from 2024, January, all the way to December, um, 2024, I, I just consistently was putting out
Yeah.
social media content every week. And next thing you know, I had 200,000 streams in the year,
Mhm.
and that's a big number for me because the year
Absolutely.
prior,
Yeah.
I probably only did maybe 1,000 streams the whole
Mhm.
entire year. So, of course, when you put in that work and you see that, reward, it makes you feel really good, and it makes you feel motivated to tell you, and you tell yourself things like, hey, I did 200,000. why can't I double it and do 500,000 or you know what I mean, and beyond, right? So
Awesome.
it's
Yes.
it's very it's I want to say it's addicting, but in the right way. You know what I mean?
That's right. Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong, based on what you've just shared, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
goes to show that you put extra effort and you're kind of reaping, you're kind of seeing better results. Let me put it that way, right? And I think
of
that's
course.
that's
Yeah,
that's fair to say. Because I mean, earlier for those of you who may have just tuned in, earlier our guest was sharing that he performed on our show. He basically was referring to the Caribbean Dreams concert when he was younger. He performed on our Caribbean Dreams concert, many, many times. That's how we kind of started. We start off from scratch as well, too. And we have grown with the Caribbean Dreams concert, by the way, too, just so you know, if because I believe you missed the last one. We've had America's Got Talent Golden Buzzer. Roberta was on our show last time.
wonderful. That's
It's all
cool.
right. So
That's awesome.
we've kind of grown as well too in our own way. But we start from scratch from the bottom, and
Absolutely.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. You obviously have been part of it and so forth. What would you say is one of the most interesting things you have experienced though throughout your journey in doing music? Because not everything is bad, right? Obviously, there are a lot of challenges as well too.
Absolutely, of course. The most trusting thing you said?
Mm. The most interesting thing.
Okay, yeah,
So whether that be meeting new people, whether that be
yeah,
learning some new techniques, whatever the case may be.
right. One interesting thing that I find myself when it comes to, of course, like music in general, like just seeing what other artists are doing. You know what I mean? That's very interesting to me
Mm-hmm.
because there's a lot of artists who are very creative, and the social media thing where it started off for me, what
Mm-hmm.
inspired me to start doing social media content was an artist named Connor Price. I'm not sure if you heard of him,
I heard
but
of him,
he
yeah.
is also, you've heard of him, yeah. So he's
Mm-hmm.
also a Canadian,
Yeah.
and he does his social media content very entertaining. Like he makes like mini movie scripts, and he interprets his music along with the content. So like, I see stuff like that, and it's like, wow, like, that's very interesting. And also the different characters that other artists have. I find that very, very interesting, of course.
Yeah. And the fact that he's Canadian, I think that's a beautiful thing, right? Because
Absolutely.
we try our best to kind of promote Canadian, artists as well, and
Yeah.
right because the musical business here, when it comes to the Canadian piece of it, can be a little bit tricky, right? It's very different than how they do things in the States,
Right. Of
right? Yeah.
course. And of course, America, like that's where, everything is, right? That's where all the top tier everything is. But you know what, Canada, we got top tier stuff too. It's not just America, right?
You got it. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So what I'll do, thank you, by the way, for everything that you share with us here today. And so what we'll do, just to give folks a little taste of some of your original music, we are going to feature,
Yes.
one right now so that they can get to hear it. They wouldn't get to see because I wouldn't share that for a purpose. But
Right.
and when we're done after the song, you can reflect, on the song a little bit based on, the motivation behind it and things of that sort. Does
Of
that sound
course.
like a plan?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, so let's do it. So one more time, this is a safe one to do.
Yes. One more time. That song is produced by me. Yeah, I made the beat for the song. I mixed the song. The song was mastered by Ty Donnelly. And the music video, of course, there's a music video for the song too, which was directed by Ocular Vision.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a very up tempo type song, good for the clubs, parties, summertime cookouts. It's really, really very fun song.
All right, so let's feature that right now so the folks can listen to it.
Yes, sir.
We love the thing, let me see you broke up yourself, girl. I know you see me looking at you, so just dance for me one more time. Oh yeah, dance for me one more time. Oh yeah. Come with me, make me show you all life what to be. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. So come with me, make me show you all life what to be. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. Over there so them a Yo. One thing you know me want. Patience, me they are wait for you from along. Oh, everything crisp. Never thought it would have been like this. If the feeling is right, then how could we ever feel so wrong? Unless you got another person on your mind. And if so, then give it to me one more time. Your eyes keep telling me you wanna stay. Oh, is everything okay? Wanna run away with me? Of course, you know that I'll be down for you. Sipping slow and some so rockin' orange juice. I love being drunk, I love to watch you move, watch you move. We love the thing. Let me see you broke up yourself, girl. I know you see me looking at you, so just dance for me one more time. Oh yeah, dance for me one more time. Come with me, make me show you all life was to be. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. So come with me, make me show you all life was to be. Over there so them a breathe, them a breathe. Over there so them a yo.
Very nicely done, by the way. It's very different when you watch the video, as I was watching it right now, but we are not sharing the video for a purpose. So tell me about that particular project. What was it like for you to put it together and all of those wonderful pieces?
So that song was, I wrote that song maybe like 2 years ago. That's maybe 3 years ago. That's when we put the song out. You know, and like I said, I made the beat. So at the time I was just working on the beat and trying to create something, you know, up tempo, something to get the people moving, something to, you know, for like parties and stuff like that, you know? So once I got the beat done and, you know, I really enjoyed it because not every beat that I make, I'll write a song to, right? Sometimes I'll make a beat and I'll be like, you know what, this isn't for me, but maybe it's for this artist. So I'll send it to this artist or that artist. But that song in particular, I was really feeling it. And shortly after, I bounced the beat, brought it to my recording program, and just got right into it, you know?
Awesome for sure. And so you and I know, and people who are watching, listening know that doing, you know, anything when it comes to the arts can be challenging, right? There are lots of
Of course, yeah.
challenges, you know, and people can easily give up and whatnot. You've been doing this for several years and you keep doing it and you get better at it, which is awesome. You've grown
Thank you.
professionally. There's no question about that. It shows. What would you say are some of the things that keep you motivated? Even though I may have asked
Yeah,
you in different ways earlier, I want people
yeah.
to kind of get it that it is important for us to keep
Of course,
going
yeah.
when we have a passion for something. What would you say are a few of the things that keep you motivated, you know, in terms of your musical piece of things?
Yeah, I just want to make good music, you know? I want to make music that like not only can other people listen to, but also me and something that I can genuinely listen to, you know? Like not something to just say, oh, it's good just because I made it. No, like I genuinely want to make good music. I want to, you know, like I want people to listen to me, right? I want to create good vibes for people. I want to, you know, and if it's and I have all different kinds of music, not just party music. I have music that'll make you think. I have music that'll make you, you know, build confidence in yourself. I have music that'll make you want to cry. You know what I mean? Like I try to do everything because, you know, music, they say music is the heartbeat of the world, right? That's the one thing that brings us together besides food. You know what I mean? Because like that's it, and that's what it is, right?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Can you share with us some of the most memorable moment you've had, meaning that places that you've performed? Because
Yeah,
obviously you perform, at different events and venues and whatnot. What are some of
of
your most
course.
memorable places and events,
Uh,
venue?
yeah, of course. I remember I performed on a youth day. I'm not sure if they still do the youth day festivals anymore in Toronto,
Hmm.
but we performed at youth day. I used to be part of a group called A Grade,
Hmm.
and as a group, we performed at the youth day festival. At the time, I believe Cardinal Official was there, also Carl Wolf, right? Very recognizable names, and we had a chance to share the same stage as those other great Canadian legends. As we mentioned, we got top tier talent too. It's not just America.
Hmm.
So yeah, Cardinal Official, shout out Cardi, shout out Carl Wolf. You know, they're still doing their thing too. I've also had a music video on Much Music, right? We applied for the Much Fact grant, right? And we got accepted, which is really cool. And they gave us a budget to film our video. We filmed it, submitted it, and next thing you know, we're on Much Music. So that was a very big highlight for me. Um, and of course, like what I'm doing right now with my social media content, you know, like I'm slowly growing, you know, but slow grind is better than no grind, right?
I love it. You got it. I wasn't
Yes.
aware of the Much Music piece. So when
Yeah.
was that? Which year was that?
I believe it was a while ago. I
A while
believe it
ago.
was maybe like 2014, 2015,
Okay,
almost
so
almost
good, a
10
good.
years ago.
Okay. I
Yeah.
remember the A grade piece though. So did you decided to do like solo because you just want to do that, or
Yeah, I mean,
you don't
like,
have to get into details or anything?
of course not. Like you know, me and the A grade guys, we still keep in contact to this day,
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
right? We're still very good friends. It's just, you know, certain people fell out of touch
Yeah.
with the music and I didn't. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, when we did A grade, we were kids, right? We were
Yeah.
like, you know, 14, 15,
Yeah.
16. We were just kids. And, you know, as we got older, certain people just fell out of touch with the music and I didn't, you know.
Yeah.
I wish A grade would have kept on going because I thought we all had great balance. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's certain artists who were better at rapping, and then there's certain artists who are better at singing. So when you have that blend in a song, it's you know very cohesive and pleasing to the ear. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah. I like what you said earlier. Some people fall off. People fall off for a different reason, but you didn't, right? You kept
yeah,
going. And like I said to you, and I hope that you are seeing the same thing that we're seeing. You have grown. I want you to, walk away knowing that we know that you have grown, right? And
thank you.
and I guess the assumption is that you've seen that as well too. Are you seeing that as well too? Like
Of
you've grown
course,
with, okay, I'm just checking, just to make sure.
yeah, of course,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, that's
Every day I
awesome.
try to grow. You know, every day I try to be better, be a better artist
Mhm.
today than I was yesterday, and then today I'm plotting how I can be a better artist tomorrow than today. You know, because like this is this is my passion. This is my true passion. You know, Kobe Bryant, you know, rest in peace. He says that like the Mamba mentality, right? The Mamba
Mhm.
mentality is no excuses.
Mhm.
You get up, you get done what you need to get done, and you don't complain. You just Mamba mentality, right?
Absolutely, for sure. So how about new projects? Like, do you have anything, that, we can look forward to?
Yeah, of course. So my goal is to put out at least one song every single month,
Mhm.
right? So I put out a song in the month of June last week Friday. It's called Not That Guy. You can stream it on the Spotify, you know, Apple Music or whatever preferred streaming
Mhm.
platform that you have.
Mhm.
And you know, I put that song out for June. I have a song scheduled for July, August, and so on for the rest of the year. So and I'm only just doing that to, you know, build the fan base a bit more, right? Like
Mhm. Mhm.
if I were to put out an album right now, it would be pointless, right? I put out an album in 2022 and I feel like I wasted about 12 songs because those are 12 songs that I could have used to carry me out the year. But instead, I put it all out at once. And
Mm.
I learned my lesson that way. So
There
I'm
you
just
go.
putting out one song every single month, and it's a great way to stay consistent, and it's a great way to build your numbers up.
Awesome. So obviously you started when you were young, right?
Yes.
And we do have, young folks who will be watching and listening at some point. What advice do you have for younger folks? Like, as you know, for some reason, people are looking for that overnight success, and it doesn't work like
Right.
that, yeah?
No, it doesn't
Lots of
exist.
effort. It doesn't exist,
No.
at least not for you and I, right? That's for sure. It
Right.
takes a lot of
Right.
hard work. You know what I mean? You have to put lots of effort because I personally believe that whatever effort we put in, that's what we're going to get back in terms of, result, right? If you don't put any sort of effort, there's not much you can expect to get back, right? But people think like that. They think that they're going to make a song or they will work on a project and boom,
Right.
overnight they will become this individual. What advice do you have for younger people who are watching right now or will be watching at some point?
Right. So keep in mind that the overnight success does not exist. If you're betting on an overnight success, it's kind of like betting on the lottery to get you some money, right? You're better off going to work and bringing home your paycheck to paycheck instead of buying a lottery ticket every day hoping you're going to cash out $1 million. It's the same thing when it comes to your passion and your dream. If you really want it, you got to put in that work, and at some point you will be rewarded, but you need to put in that work each and every single day.
Awesome. Awesome. And so do you sing, I think this is a fair question. Do you like sing like specific like do you have sing other genres of music as well too? Or I
Yeah.
guess what I'm trying to ask you as well too, do you have a likeness for a specific type of genres?
Majority of my music is hip hop rap, but of course I like to experiment and do other things that's kind of like out of my realm. So
Mm.
you will hear some reggae music. Of course, I
Reggae,
come
yeah.
from a
Mm.
Jamaican background, so you
Mhm.
will hear the patois and
Mhm.
the reggae influence. Because hey, my family, that's who I was. That's the roof I was raised under, right? So
Mhm.
even though I'm not born in Jamaica, I
Yeah,
got Jamaican roots, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you'll hear a lot of reggae influences. You'll hear some R&B influences, right? I like to dibble and dabble and just try different sounds because you never know if hey, you never know what song might take off, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. How about support from, family and whatnot? Because I mean, you are a father now, by the way, right? We have to be realistic here.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
means that you have an obligation, you have a wife. I'm assuming you have a wife, right? You're
Oh
married?
yes.
Yeah, I'm just
Yes.
checking.
Yes.
Checking. You never know, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification. I didn't want to kind of just assume anything here. So
No worries.
you are a husband, you're a father, and whatnot. How are you able to balance? Right? Being a
Yes.
father, being a husband, and doing what you really love because you really love music. There's no
Of
denying about
course.
that.
Yeah.
It shows. There's a track record to show your commitment for over a decade.
Yes, of course. And my wife, she's very supportive. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be times where like once I'm done work, it's like, hey, I'm gonna go work on the song for a bit. She'll be like, hey, don't worry, I'll take care of the kids. I'll take care of dinner. I'll take care of this. Just do what you got to do. And like, she's very supportive. She loves my music. My son, he loves my music too.
Mhm.
He'll be 2 years old this August, and he's already catching on lyrics.
Oh, really?
So yeah, of course, yeah, it's incredible to see, because he's my son and he's
Mhm.
singing my songs, right? So that's a very very proud dad moment when I see that. But yeah, no, the family balance is great. Like I obviously give my family a lot of attention. Like today, as I mentioned earlier, we went to the Eric Traplin show
Mhm.
right there at City Hall, and it was me, my wife, and my son, and we went. We had a great time. We had some grilled cheese, beaver tails, and we're just out in the community,
Yeah.
just doing family stuff.
That's awesome. Good for you. Good
Yes,
for you. I'm
yes.
very proud of you, by the way. Good stuff. So you know how to
Thank you.
balance it. That's awesome. I love it.
Absolutely,
All
of
right.
course. Family comes first at the
Yeah,
end of the
I know,
day,
eh?
right?
Definitely. Yeah, there's a story I have to share here with our folks, our viewers and listeners. So when Shamar, our guest here, when he was young, I'm not sure if you can remember this or not, but when you were young, you enter a competition, with Justin Bieber, a local radio show type of
Yes.
competition. At that time, Justin Bieber was not fully known per se. I mean, he's known, but at that time he was not like fully there yet, so to speak, but was kind of making his way. And I want to share with our audience or listeners and viewers that you won that competition over Justin Bieber, and I think that's commendable.
Yes.
I think that's important to kind of mention here because it goes to show
Yes.
that when people support, local artists and so forth, good things can happen, right?
Yes, of course. And just to touch back on that, that actually Justin Bieber was very popular at the time, believe it or
Oh, he
not.
was popular, right? It's been a
Yes,
while
at
now.
that
It's been a while. It's
time.
been a while. It's been a
Oh
while.
yes, that was a while ago. At the time, he was actually signed to Usher, right? That was
Ooh.
when Usher signed him, and Usher introduced him to the world. Not only did we beat Justin Bieber, we also beat Drake, Nicki Minaj. So the competition that you're referring to, if you're from the Kitchener Waterloo area, I'm sure you're familiar with the radio station 91.5 The Beat. And 91.5 The Beat, I'm not sure if they still do it or not. I'm sorry, it's been so many years
That's
since I've
okay.
listened
It's
to
been
the
a
radio
while.
station. But at the time, they had a show called the 9 o'clock Showdown. So the 9 o'clock Showdown is, there's one song that will compete against another song, and listeners around the city or the that get the radio that get the radio broadcasting, they get to call in and vote which song they like better, whether they like this song or that song, and people just kept on voting for A grade at the time, right? So it was very fun time.
Awesome. And the fact that he was already popular, I think that's even better news to hear, right?
Of course, yeah, and also it also just shows how much Kitchener supports their local talent, right?
Yes, yes, and that's important. It's so important
Yes,
for folks to kind of, support local artists. The bottom line is you have to keep going because you never know when you can have that unique big hit, right? And kind of
yeah,
when it will be difficult for me to get a hold of you, right?
yeah.
It's like,
No
"Hey,
worries,
Narine,
Naren.
I don't have time for this, Narine. I'm kind of
No,
busy. We
I'll
got a
always
big
have
stuff."
time for you, Naren. You've
I'm
always
just
been great
kidding.
to me. I always have time for you, Naren.
I'm just
Anytime. You
kidding.
just let me know when and where, and I'm there.
There you go. Awesome. No, no, I appreciate that. And I really appreciate your commitment to be here today. As when I reached it to you, you made it happen. A lot of people don't know how to stay committed to things
Of course.
because it's important because a commitment means that I'm also making myself available to make it happen, right? And so the fact
Yeah.
that you've make it happen for you, I think this is awesome. It really tells me something about you, right? That
Right.
professional piece is there, right? Because we all have things going on. I'm a father as well too. We have lots of things happening. There's always stuff happening in the community. I'm so glad to hear that you made the time to attend that event earlier today, which is awesome. That is great.
Yes. Absolutely. Of course.
So we have lots more to talk about, but I would love to feature another song so that folks can get to know more,
Of course.
right?
Yes. What song's
So
next?
so let me give them a little surprise here, and then at the end of it all, you will kind of reflect on this song after we finish playing. How about that?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right.
Light up the thing, you know that I've been smoking every day. I'm calling you at 12 a.m., I've got a lot to say. I wanted you to know that I'm about to make my way over to you, making my way over to you. You said you love the way that I sound when I talk to you. Even if you lived 1,000 miles away from me, I'd still walk to you. Listen to the sweet tones and the beautiful melodies I brought to you. Let me serenade you, let me serenade you, yeah. Serenade you every day, serenade you every night, serenade you in the rain, serenade you in the sunlight. Do you love when I sing to you? Tell me, am I getting through? Will I put you in the mood? If I touch you at the right time? Serenade you, yeah, serenade you, serenade you. Light up the thing, you know that I've been smoking every day. On the regular, but I ain't smoking anything regular. Let me tell you something that only you and I can know. Baby, keep it on the low. Let me tell you something. Do you feel me? We can get dirty, get nothing to hide, that's the real me. Will you shoot back if they try to kill me? Stay loyal if they say that I'm guilty, and I know you would. So I bought you diamonds, bought you shoes, I bought you everything, so let me sing for you. You ain't even gotta talk. You ain't gotta say nothing, let me do all the talking. Serenade you every day, serenade you every night, serenade you in the rain, serenade you in the sunlight. Do you love when I sing to you? Tell me, am I getting through? Will I put you in the mood? If I touch you at the right time? Serenade you, yeah, serenade you, serenade you, serenade you, serenade you. Serenade you, serenade you.
All right, so another beautiful one. So tell us about that. Tell us about, the motivation behind it, whatever challenges you may have had producing it and anything else you feel necessary.
Yes, so that song is titled Serenade You. We put that one out, I believe, sometime in November of 2024. So just a few months ago, about 6, 7, 8 months ago. That song was produced by my producer right now. So his name is Apollo 8 Beats. Shout outs to Apollo. And, Apollo, like what he'll do is he'll just send me like 20 beats at a time, let's say. And I'll just go through, the folder and listen to like what beat that I feel sticks out the most. That was one of them. So, I just got to work. I'm listening to the song over and over and over again. And, eventually I came up with the idea of serenading, the listener, right? So that's pretty much what the song is about, me serenading the listeners.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so when you're performing live, I mean, you've obviously performed at different, events and venues and whatnot. When you're performing, what does it feel like when you have audience, when you're singing in front of an audience? I would think that it's a special thing.
It's of course, yeah. It's the moment. Let's be honest here. Everybody loves being the center of attention. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody loves when the eyes are on them, and everybody loves that feeling. So of course, like when I'm on stage, I feel like that's my time. That's my time to shine. That's my moment. That's I don't want to say it's all about me because it's also about the crowd too, right? The crowd, it's up to me to put on a good show for them to keep their eyes on stage, right? So when it comes to performing, my number one objective is to, of course, A, entertaining show, and B, how can I get the crowd involved, right? Like if I can be like, hey, when I say Trayvon, you say Palmer, like that's very generic, of course, but it's some stuff like that, you know what I mean? So it's a very beautiful thing.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you for being honest, by the way. I mean, when people are working hard and when they have a passion for something, you want to make sure that it's getting out there, right? You want to make sure that people are enjoying it, right? And if you can connect with the folks, that's a bonus, right?
Of course, yeah, of course.
That's awesome for sure. Absolutely. And so, how about like interviews and stuff in the past? Like, have you done any other like interviews with folks at all?
Oh yeah, I've done interviews before. I've done interviews for for magazines.
Yeah.
I've done interviews for radio shows, other radio shows. Interviews are great too because at the same time it gives me the opportunity to promote my music, to promote my brand.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course, I love doing interviews. Anything that's music related, I love doing it. I'm there no matter what.
Yeah. So obviously you have a love for music. There's no question about that. And we'll feature more songs. I want folks to know that. But when you're not doing any sort of music, when you're not writing songs, I know this might be a little bit of a, hopefully not too challenging. When you're not writing music, when you're not thinking of a new beat, anything along that line, what is it that you do with your free time? I know that's a tough question because your husband, your father, like where do you find the free time from, right?
Right. There's not much free time, that's for sure.
I agree.
Not much free time. The best free time that I have is when I spend it with my wife, right? That's the and shout out to my baby Sierra. I know she's watching. So baby, if you're seeing this, I'm in the room, I'm working, and yeah, like most times we'll just, we'll sit in the living room and, we'll watch the game show. We'll watch like Family Feud, Jeopardy. Another thing that we do together is we'll work out, right? We do all of our workouts together. So that's one thing that I like to do with my free time. I like to try to, maintain a good physique, right?
Hmm.
Um, I like to hang out with my friends too, of course, right? I got some friends that are in the city. I'll go see them, hang out with them. Maybe we'll go to a Krabby Joe's, or maybe we'll go to a basketball court and I'll hang out and just do guy stuff, right? I'm still a human at the end of the day. So, another way I like to spend free time, of course, is with my kids. My sons, I got two boys, right? One 10-year-old and one soon to be 2-year-old.
Hmm.
So I like to spend time with them, of course. And yeah, you know,
That's awesome. Good stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't mean to put you in the spot there, but
no, no, no,
um,
not
I
at
mean,
all.
I'm aware that you love music. I'm aware of your passion for it because, as we were sharing with folks, you've
Right,
performed on our Caribbean Dreams concert many, many times. And when we started the Caribbean Dreams concert over 2 decades ago, it were people like yourself who were, performing and trying to figure out themselves and and,
right.
and 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 eager to be in the stage as well too and so forth. And in your case, that consistency continue for you, which is awesome, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what I'll do, we are going to feature another beautiful song of yours so that people can get to know more about you. But I also
Yes,
want folks to know as well too that all the songs that they have been listening to are all original music, which is a beautiful,
yes,
special
yes.
thing. This is something that will set you apart. I want you to know that, right? A lot of the times people,
Right.
sing over a song and they try their best to make it their own. And it's not a crime per se, but when you have that original music, that's your stuff, right? And so
Yeah, yeah.
it's very special, right? You can massage it your way. It's, I don't know a better way to say it, but it's a beautiful thing, right?
I use the reference like every song that I make is like a new baby for me, right?
There
So
you go.
I got like, man, I got at least 100 songs, so that means I got 100 kids, right?
Wow. I wasn't aware of
So,
that. That's awesome. Good for
oh
you.
yeah, yeah, I have lots of songs, lots of music. I'm always working on music. Like, I have maybe about like 20, maybe anywhere between like 20 to 25 songs that are out right now, and majority of my songs I didn't even put out yet. So, I'm always creating. I'm always thinking about the next move. I'm always thinking about like what can I do next, right?
Awesome. On speaking, what can you do next? I know you were part of the A grade group, which is obviously a great experience for you. Do you
Yeah.
have any plans in kind of working in partnership with somebody, from time to time as well, too, just to see what comes out of it?
I mean, as of right now, there's no specific
Yeah,
partnership, but I'm
yeah,
always open to work with others.
yeah.
Majority of the things that I do, that I do it by myself. I have my one producer,
Mhm.
and like he'll send me beats. But other than that, it's everything that I do is literally just all me,
It's all you.
right? I
How
take care of my marketing. I take care of the audio engineering, the lyrics. I take care of everything.
That's awesome. So how the heck do you come with a beat? It's not my area of expertise, right? So
Yeah,
it just flows just like that, like because it's a
yeah.
talent, it's a talent.
Of course it is, and it all starts in here, right?
Yeah.
So, me personally, I don't really produce beats as much anymore, but
Mm.
because now I have my producer who takes care of that for me, so it makes the job much easier. That's for sure, because he'll send dozens of beats at a time, and from my experience with when it comes to making beats, yes, it's definitely not an easy task to come up with the melody in your head and then somehow bring it to your speakers, right? So, um and with anything, it just comes with experience and practice, right?
Yes.
I like to believe that, and I tell my kids this all the time, right? That they always say practice makes perfect, right? But there's no such thing as perfect in my household. It's progress. So even when you think you're perfect, you can always get better than perfect. It's practice makes progression, not perfection.
I love it. I like how you think. You've grown. You've grown a lot. I'm very proud of you, by the way. Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's awesome. You have that critical mindset, which is awesome. So what we'll
Yes.
do, we'll feature another beautiful song of yours, and at the end of it all, you will reflect on it again, just like you did with the other ones. All right?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Awesome. So that's coming up here in a couple of seconds. I'm just, all right.
Sometimes felt unlovely, sometimes you act ugly. What do you want from me? I need this recovery. So let the angels sing, cause love is supposed to be a good thing. So tell me, why does it hurt so much, hurt so much? Hurt so much, hurt so much. You that me want real love, me no want a replica. Can't let me feed ya, no never that. Cause me no want a broken heart, no. Step on it Air Force, flight down a yard, me day at the airport. She want me fi push it in, use bare force, bend over, make me see you drop on all four. Don't say a word, don't tell a lie, don't tell nobody and don't you cry. I'm on the world real tough. If love's so good, why hurt so much? Sometimes felt unlovely, sometimes you act ugly. What do you want from me? I need this recovery. So let the angels sing, cause love is supposed to be a good thing. So tell me, why does it hurt so much, hurt so much?
All right, so that's a very beautiful one there, that I can tell you for sure.
Thank you.
I was listening to the lyrics, listening to the words, and I mean, love shouldn't hurt, right?
It shouldn't. It really
It
shouldn't.
should. So tell me about that one. You're a critical thinker, as I mentioned to you earlier. Tell me about
Yes.
this whole project and the motivation behind it.
So that song was self-produced. I made that beat for that song. And you know, like that's also the reggae inspiration that I was explaining about earlier today. Like, you know, my family, they're from Jamaica, right? Kingston, Jamaica. You know, I was born in Kitchener, Ontario, over here in Grand River Hospital,
Oh,
right?
wow.
So I'm a Canadian boy, but once again, Jamaican roots are in my blood. And you know, I just from time to time, I always try to, you know, pay homage to my you know, my background, right? So of course, coming from a Jamaican background, I try to do the patois. Even though my patois isn't the greatest, I still try. And you know, the good thing is I'll have family back in Jamaica. They'll hear my music and be like, yo, your patois sounds legit, man. So you know, it makes me feel good when they give me good praise for my patois. But the meaning behind hurt so much. It's of course, we've all had a broken heart at some point. We've all had a crush on somebody who maybe has a crush on somebody else, or you know, the person you have a crush on treats you dirty for whatever reason it is. And you know, even though you love this person is not the right person to love. And you know, if you haven't experienced that yet, young people, I'm sure one day you will. I hope you don't experience something too traumatic, but you know, love can be a dangerous zone sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you so much for sharing that. Very much appreciated. And
Yes, of
so,
course.
generally speaking, and I know it will depending based on your time and based on what's happening and whatnot, but generally speaking, how long does it take you to put together a song where it gives you that satisfaction where you can say, hey, you know what, look,
Yeah.
I'm really content and happy with this whole thing here.
Yeah, I mean, like it, you know, really depends on the vibe, to be honest. Like sometimes, like the other day, my producer and I, we made an entire song within 24 hours. So he made the beat, sent me the beat. That same day, I wrote the lyrics, recorded the song, mixed, mastered everything, and we had the song done in less than 24 hours, which I thought was very impressive. So, you know, you'll have moments like that where you're really feeling it and like you're just banging out records. There's times where it's like, you know, like I'll work on a song and it might take me a week, or you know, sometimes I'll work on a song, I'll record the chorus today, and maybe 3 months from now I'll forget about the chorus. I'll hear it. I'll be like, hey, let me finish this up because this is dope. So like it just really depends on the vibe, you know.
Yeah. And speaking of the word dope, I realized that it is a comment it's a compliment based on the kind of language we use and whatnot in terms of our communication. Because when somebody realized that you were going to be on the show here, they use the word, oh, dope, right? And then I had to think for a
Yeah.
second. I said he's complimenting him here, so this is awesome, you know. But
Yes.
sometimes I think depending what lens you're looking at it from, right? So thank you for kind of communicating to and being yourself here, because I was
Yes.
able to connect the dots here, which is awesome.
Yes. It's just the urban
Yes.
slang and
Yeah.
the young people talk, they
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, for sure, for sure. No, that's awesome. No, that's pretty cool. Um, where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I see myself becoming a better father, a better husband, a better musician. My profession, I'm currently doing life insurance as well, so I see myself being a better life insurance agent at my job. Um, 5 years from now, I also see myself, maybe trying different things. Like one thing that I'm working on right now is my clothing brand. So
Mhm.
this elephant that you see on me is my clothing brand as well. It's the Kudos Club,
Mhm.
and this is something that I would like to push as well. So in the next 5 years, I definitely see myself being more involved with clothing. I want to also inspire other young people and help young people in the community to get their music done, get their music done the right way. Not only that, but and also getting it out the right way too,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people don't understand that, like, you know, what like you can actually make a living off of your music. You can make good money off of your music. You don't have to be the next
Mhm.
Beyonce. You don't have to be the next Jay-Z.
Mhm.
You can still make like good $50,000 a year from your own music, from your own home. It's
Mhm.
possible, and you just have to really want it if this is what you want to
Yeah.
do. So I want to help the young kids realize that if music is something you want to pursue, it's possible, but like you just have to be able to put in that work. That's it, you know?
Yeah, that is awesome. For sure. You have to put in the work, as you mentioned earlier, right?
Yes. Yes.
For sure, for sure. And so, I mean, you have lots going on, and that's a good thing, right? You are a family man. You have two boys. You have a wife. You have a job. You do the musical thing and whatnot and so forth. And so generally speaking, and this is in and you know as well that I do a lot of different things. And one of the things I do therapy work on the side as well too, among many other things. And one of the common question I ask people is that how many hours of sleep do they usually get? So don't take it personally in terms of me asking you how many hours
Of
of sleep
course.
do you get, right?
Absolutely.
But generally speaking, like how many hours do you sleep?
I really
Go
try
ahead.
to aim to get my 8 hours every single night. Me and my wife, we talk about all the time. We need to go to
Mhm.
bed earlier.
Earlier.
But, it's just like at the end of the day, like work's got to get done, right? Like there's two kids in the household. We also got a dog. He's got to eat too,
Mhm.
right? We both got to eat, and at the same time, we need mommy and daddy time. Like, there's family time and then there's mommy and daddy time, right? And
Mhm.
most for the most part, mommy and daddy time is at nighttime when the kids are in
Mhm.
bed, right? So, we try to take advantage of that moment and, of course, like um I got family as well, so it's the balance is there as well, but you know that's just how
Yeah,
it goes, right?
for sure, for sure. And how about like cooking and things of that sort? Like, do you assist with the cooking in the household at all?
I cook every meal.
You're
i
kidding
cook
me.
I cook everything. Yes, I love cooking.
Oh, so your wife, she loves you for sure.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And
Oh.
one of my favorite things to cook actually is I like to cook rice and peas and
Mm-hmm.
oxtail,
Mm-hmm.
right? My mother taught me the recipes, so I like
Mm-hmm.
to cook rice and peas and oxtail. I love to cook steak. I like to cook jerk chicken. I like to cook burgers. I make my own burgers. I'll buy the ground beef, or sometimes I'll go to my butcher and get them to grind the meat for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll season my own patties and slap them on my cast iron, and boom, homemade burgers, right? And also a healthier option too, because the burgers you get at McDonald's
Yeah.
and all those things, even though they taste delicious, it's probably not the healthiest way.
Of
So
course, of course,
there's other ways to go around
for
that
sure,
craving.
for sure. And how about your mom? Does she still live locally here in the region, Waterloo? Have not seen her in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah,
She lives.
mom's good. Yes, mom's good. She's of course like she's doing her own thing. She's got her, her stuff to take care of course, and
Of course.
mom's always good.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. And so I usually get mixed up. So Sunshine is the cousin and not your sister, right?
Yes, Sunshine's my cousin. Sasha's also my
Of
cousin.
course, I'm aware of that part of it, yeah.
Yes, yes. So Sunshine, Sasha, but we all grew up in the same household, so
That,
we
yeah.
have that brother-sister relationship.
Yeah,
But the technical family term is cousin. I mean, my kids, they call them auntie, right?
yeah.
So they'll see Sasha and go, "Hey, Auntie Sasha," or Auntie Sunshine. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen Sunshine not too long ago, fairly recent.
oh yeah,
Obviously she's all yes, she's all obviously all grown and look very, very different and whatnot.
it's crazy.
And I knew that there is that relationship there, but I was a little bit mixed up whether that be, the cousin or like a brother and sister kind of thing. So thank you for that clarification. And if Sunshine is watching or will be watching, we're talking about you in a good way here, so nothing
Yes,
personal.
shout out to Sunshine, shout out to
Yeah,
Sasha,
of course, of course.
right? Shout out to Auntie Keisha too, right?
Yes,
Auntie Camille, my mother Eunice. Love you guys, and we'll see you guys soon.
absolutely, for sure, for sure. And so I want you to know that I'm giving you an open invitation to reach out to me anytime, anytime you may have a need for whatever the case may be. You have lots going on. You are a very talented individual, and I'm going to try to find a way to see how we can work more closely together, right?
Absolutely, of
There's a
course.
lot of
Thank you.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff we can do. So we'll talk more about this after the show, obviously. But you have lots of stuff going on, and I think there are
Thank you.
ways that we can continue to support you so you can be a better version of you, right? You are
Wonderful.
very I don't know how you live a life at home. Like nobody's perfect, right? But one thing I can tell you openly here, and he's not paying me to say this, you've always been a disciplined and respectful person to me. And I want you to know I recognize that, and that's important to me. I want you to know that.
Absolutely.
When you come to a show and so forth, the way you talk, the way you present yourself, like everything's come from the heart. I can tell the difference.
Yes.
It's all,
And
it's good.
Naren, you've always been good to me, like
Yeah.
for as long as I can remember, you've always taken good care of me. Every time I come to the shows, you're always giving us food, you're always taking care of us, giving us great entertainment. So, like I have a lot of respect for you, a lot of admiration for you, and to me, you're a pioneer out here, and you deserve to be recognized as well.
And vice versa. And that's one of the reasons when a person like me see the growth in a person like you, it excites me because I know that, know your mother, I know your aunt, obviously Keisha
Right.
and whatnot. And so it's a little bit more special that way, right? I've kind of
Absolutely, of
watched you
course.
grow and so forth. So it's kind of awesome. You've grown in so many different ways, which is awesome. And so you have a good way to kind of put it all together. And one of the things that you mentioned here is that if you really want if you really want to have something, you have to work hard. Nothing comes easy, right? You've
Of
said it in
course.
different ways, and you recognize that you're putting in the effort. And I think those are the things that really set you apart for sure. There's no question about that. We will be very happy, obviously, to bring you back on the show again.
Of course.
Later on. So this will be like an ongoing thing for you because our relationship is a little bit more different and unique. So we'll be happy to kind of, bring you on back in for a quick bit so that you can update folks as to what's happening. But before I let you go though, when it comes to the insurance piece, without getting into any specific details, is this like an independent type of thing where, you can benefit from having people kind of reach out to you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, like I work with Experior Financial, so
Mm-hmm.
they'll send me like
Okay.
customers to like reach out to, like they call them leads. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll reach out to them, call them, and just tell them what's their like it gets complicated on how the leads come to me, but
Mm-hmm.
long story short, these are people who are looking for life insurance. I'm the guy that contacts them, shows them different options, and they
Mm-hmm.
make the decision whether they want to move forward with me or if they want to continue shopping around. And yeah, that's pretty much my job right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just thought I ask you because we have folks who probably, were thinking to do it but never had the opportunity to actually do it and whatnot, and it's a good thing,
Right.
right? Because
Absolutely, of course.
when people have it, I mean, it gives them a sense of not security per se, but especially if they have kids and stuff involved, right? They kind of having something of as such in place. I guess it gives them some sort of satisfaction knowing that there's something there just in case, right? Because nobody knows
Exactly.
what happens tomorrow, right? And like nothing
Nobody
is
knows.
guaranteed, right? So it's giving that.
Nothing is
Yeah,
guaranteed.
for sure. There's no question about that. But let me bring you back to the musical piece because this is where your passion lies. Because obviously you're doing your
Yes.
job because you have to pay the bills and so forth,
Yes,
and
yes.
and things of that sort. So let's say people who may have helped you, along the way, because you and I know that yes, we all do lots of independent work. I mean, you do a lot of stuff on your own. There's no question about that.
Right.
But down the road, I'm assuming there has to be people that kind of help you along in some shape or form. Whether that be you still have the relationship with them or not. I guess what I'm trying to ask you here, here's an opportunity for you to maybe kind of acknowledge it if there's anything comes to mind, whether that be people in your circle, it could be your spouse, it could be family and whatnot, but it's an
Right.
opportunity for you to kind of acknowledge people who may have helped you in some shape or form, if you so choose. You don't have to.
Yeah, of course. My wife Sierra, she's definitely like she's the one who helps me film a lot of my stuff. So when you see me on social media, a lot of the times it's her holding the camera, right? If I'm not inside my studio, like if I'm outside, 100% it's her who's holding the camera. So she's definitely a big help. My producer Apollo, he's a phenomenal producer, also from Kitchener Waterloo. So, my team is 100% local, right? And realistically, right now, my team are just three people: me, my producer Apollo, and my wife, right? And I love my team, right? Everybody plays their part and on getting the music out, and it's not just about with my team, it's not an individual thing. Even though I may be the face of
Yeah.
everything, but it's not about me; it's about
Hmm.
us, right?
Hmm.
So, the help is definitely needed. And if you're going to be making music or whatever it is that you're doing, the truth is you're going to need some help with something,
Yeah,
right? Even if you're learning it, you got to learn it from somebody else. So at the end of the day, that's still help, right?
absolutely.
So yes.
Absolutely, for sure. And thanks for sharing because that was one of my question and you kind of answered my question, which is awesome because I knew they had to be somebody doing that, they holding the camera as you mentioned it, right? That's
Yep.
awesome. But it's such a creative idea though. I really like that. I like how you played a double role, so to speak, right? In the video. It's very unique. But I think one of the things I will do more of, I will acknowledge it more on there because I do watch it, I do enjoy it, it makes a lot of sense. Sometimes I get a laugh too,
That's good. That's good.
right? But I think there's an opportunity for us to kind of acknowledge a little bit more so that you are aware and know that, hey, this makes sense, keep it coming, kind of thing, right? So
Right. Thank you.
awesome, yes, yes. I like how the fact you give it a shot, you started, and you kind of continue on. So I do get a notification when you when you post it, right?
Absolutely. Of
I think after
course.
I think when you watch it after so often, I think automatically it's kind of set up that way that hey, hey, there's another one there, right? So that's
Right.
pretty
Right.
cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So I will kind of let you go in a minute through here, but I just want folks to know that our guest here, Shamar, he is a musician, he's a songwriter. All of his songs, they're all original songs. He has been in this thing for a long time. He has performed on our Caribbean Dreams concert for many, many times. That's how we started in the first place, right? We ourselves, we have kind of grown as well too. We brought him on this show because we really wanted to showcase his growth. Right? And even when you speak, Shamar, I want you to know that very professional. You can do well in the job interview.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You can buy your way, into any job based on what you've done here, which is awesome. And I
Well, I've been
want you,
doing sales my whole life, pretty much, my whole adulthood. So, I had to learn how to converse properly, believe it or not.
and that's okay.
It
And
all
that's
started off with going door to door. I did door to door sales for like 6 years, and
you're kidding
that's
me.
where it
All
all
right.
started. Yeah,
Yes, and you kind of like it, and you kept it going too, right? And because you have to do something too, as you mentioned on this side for sure.
Right, exactly.
Is there anything specific you would like to say to our people who are kind of watching right now? Obviously, people will be watching afterwards, so we do a
Yeah,
repeat
of
on
course.
102.7 CKMSFM as well too. There are a few different ways,
Yes,
by the way, for folks who are watching and listening. You can listen to us on the regular dial 102.7 CKMSFM. For those of you who have the Rogers digital cable channel 946, you'll get to listening to
right.
it there. And obviously, it's floating around on social media. So if you're watching and listening right now, I would encourage you to just hit that share button. It makes a huge difference, that's for sure. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people who are watching and listening right now?
Yes, whatever dream that you have, pursue it, keep going, don't give up. Even though those times, there's going to be times where it gets really hard and you're going to want to give up, but it's those moments where you really have to try even harder because you will achieve some sort of milestone. And one more thing that I wanted to point out, of course, we talked multiple times on how far you and I go back, Narine, right?
Yeah.
And I've known Narine since I was maybe, once again, 8, 9 years old, little boy. And I just wanted to point out to the viewers and the listeners that this man does not age. He looks the exact same from when I was younger. So, like, whatever water you're drinking, brother, I'm going to need
Yeah.
some of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good to know. Good to know. I appreciate that. That's for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, you look great, my brother. You look
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, thank you. And I want you to continue the great work, but I want you to know this again. If there are ways for us to kind of support you so that you can continue to push things forward, we're always here. Like, there's no deny about that because I mean, at
Thank
the
you.
end of the day, there are many reasons for us to continue to do that. Despite the fact that, we have known each other for many, many years now. I mean, not to discriminate, with American folks or with anybody else, but you're Canadian as well too, right? And we
Yes,
have to
yes.
promote our Canadian people. That's important, right?
Exactly. This is our home. This is our home,
For
right?
sure, for sure. We've had somebody on the show here, an anchor, and she said, she was very pleased and blessed that her parents, migrated here in Kitchener because she kind of grew up here, and she
Right.
was, she's pleased to see the growth over the years. But as you know, Kitchener, I mean, I guess both of us will agree that Kitchener is safer in comparison with places like Toronto and so forth. I work in Toronto, by the way, just so you know. So I get to see
Right.
I get to see all the things that's happening. It's very different, as you would know, right?
Of course. And, of course, the Kitchener is no Toronto, right? Toronto's obviously the more exciting place. But,
Yeah, yeah.
at the same time, Toronto is no Kitchener, right? Like, even though, and that's not to knock down Toronto. Of course, I love going to Toronto. I love having fun.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, there's no place like home. You know what I mean? Like Kitchener, this is our home at the end of the day. And you know what? Like I'm proud to call this place my home and I love this place very much.
That's awesome. So how can people get a hold of you, in terms of, wanting your music and things of that sort?
So you can search me on YouTube. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your music. All you got to do is just search up Trayvon Palmer, and every stream that you contribute, of course, helps support the cause. It
Mhm.
allows me to create more music, and of course, gives me the motivation to continue to put out more music. So yeah, I would really appreciate the music for all the listeners that are watching right now and that are
Awesome.
listening right now.
Awesome. Any final words you would like to say before we wrap it up?
Yes, I want to shout out to my family. So shout out to my wife Sierra, my boys Isaiah and Zakiah. Of course, shout out to some family members. I'd like to say hello to my mother, my grandmother, Auntie Keisha, Auntie Camille, Sasha, Sunshine. Love you guys. I'd like to give a shout out to my producer Apollo. Thank you very much for helping me create such great music. Um, and yeah, shout out to Narine for having me. Very grateful to be here today.
That's awesome. You have no idea how proud I am of you, by the way, because I mean, I've seen your growth, but having you on here, I find that you really highlight everything about you so nicely, which is awesome.
Thank
So,
you,
my
Narine.
dear, you're welcome anytime. So, my dear fellow listeners and viewers, as we are officially approaching the end of tonight's program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Narine Dat Show. On behalf of myself and our special guest here, both of us would like to join together and wish you a great today and even better tomorrow. We'll see you next time.